Before the heaven and the earth came to existence, what was I? Before the heaven and the earth came to existence, what was I? Before the heaven and the earth came to existence, what was I? My friends and practitioners, we practice this meditation methods. We ask questions clearly, continually, and just ask normally the question. Neither we really ask this question, just ask the question, even the question is no meaningless. We think just nonsense questions, but that's the question we have to ask. The practice meditation methods that raising down, maintain down. Why is meaningless and why is nonsense? But we continue to asking this question because that like the treatment, medical treatment, just like medical treatment, to get over the painful burden that the painful of the attachment, painful of the ignorance. So we have to add the question. Add the question, raising doubts that the effect of the medical treatment, effect of the question we add in. That's the method. Buddha says just like we don't change to the name, the frame, the picture, or the objection. When stop chasing like that, we will really recognize our original face. We recognize our shape nature. The recognize, not recognize the objection, that recognize the shape nature, Buddha nature. Buddha nature, shape nature, original face, that's not the objection for recognize, for looking, for thinking. The attachment. So even the question nonsense, even the question meaningless, we still add the question, raising doubts, maintain the doubt. That the practice matters. But because meaningless, because nonsense, so don't have even the thing to follow, even don't have the meaning to hold, to do anything. It make practice like easy to get boring. That make the practice easy to go another way. Because we think the other way we get peaceful mind, we get the no suffering in that, no worry in that, no fearing in that. Fear and no fearing. Suffer, no suffering. That's a dualism, because we get the attachment on that, because we always have the subjective and the objective, always stay in the attachment, never leave. This way, practice method, just ask the question, maintain down. And when the practitioner practice until awakening, even they can stay in the hell, they know don't get the suffer. They raising the compassion, all compassion, go anywhere, any places, no suffering, because no self-attachment, because no self in that. Like right, wrong, hate or like, no happen in mind of the practitioner when they are awakening. So just practice, ask the question, maintain down. Even we thinking that the question is nonsense, we thinking that the question is meaningless, we still ask the question to relieve, automatically relieve the doubt, help the practitioner to relieve what, relieve the attachment, relieve the objective, relieve the ignorance, suffer, why, fearing. Now even the suffer, fearing, worry not coming yet. But that if we have objective, subjective, that those things will come in. Just practice. In the way thầy, quý sư cô, con toàn thể quý bạn đồng tham.
The monastic sanghas and then practitioners.
Khởi nghi tình.
So when we practice this method of meditation, we need to ask the question and raise it out. So just like this question, not the mind, not the Buddha, not the things. What is it? Not the mind, not the Buddha, not the thing. What is it? Not the mind, not the Buddha, not the thing. What is it?
Nhờ chúng ta hỏi câu hỏi khởi nghi tình. Đó là tham thiền.
So asking this question without with the doubt, then it's gonna able to.
Không phải. Tại tham thời đầu là phải có nghi, khởi nghi tình, đó là tham thời đầu. Là chính cái nghi sẽ giúp cho chúng ta quét sạch cái vô minh, cái ngã chấp. Và chính cái nghi đưa chúng ta đến thời đầu, cũng chính cái nghi có thể giúp chúng ta cắt.
So with the doubt, it's going to help us to lead us to the original mind, or we also call the awakening, awake from our dream and end our sickness in the mind, or the sickness of the eyes. When you have a lot of imagine flowers in the space, and because all this is based on the self-attachment of from our own ignorance, and the doubt is gonna help us to lead us to do that. So our question is meaningless, it's senseless, and it's just a wooden rotten wood, and it doesn't have any taste, but actually it's going to help us to end our birth and death. So the practice here is gonna help us to that, and this is not gonna destroy the worldly Dharma. It's still,
nếu mà chúng ta để cái ngã chấp vào trong đó thì nó sanh ra đủ thứ phân biệt, đủ thứ phiền não.
Because when the Dharma that
nếu mà
try to
thì nó quét đi cái ngã chấp,
differentiate the worldly life,
của thế gian,
then it's a duality.
Nó không có,
so therefore this practice is within the Dharma life and the worldly life.
Thế gian nó có cái cung dung ngôn hạnh.
So let's say in the worldly life we have to
nếu mà thực hành đúng,
have to be perfect our virtue, our
cái tướng phải là công dung ngôn hạnh cho người
acting, our
cho bản thân mình
the way we talk and the way we act and so on. So when we practice this, is basically is neutralize all that worldly qualifications. But when people, they have to really use the dualistic mind to practice that, and therefore the true practice of the virtues, the speech, the act, they need to have to focus on how they do that. But when you practice this, it should be natural. So in one of the sutra, how to live a life, so the Buddha mentioned in that sutra is basically we have to practice along with everything in our life. So it doesn't matter how the worldly life is, the practice as that is. And when we practice the Huatou, we're gonna focus on the practice. We're not gonna gossip, other people or anything else. We're gonna just focus on the practice, and that is basically the virtue practice already. So that as an example by the Buddha.
Trong kinh có bên Nam thì có,
and in the sutra, in the men lay practitioners, we have Sariputra and the and for the female lay persons is the ladies always provides all the medicine, food. She should dedicate lay persons. So when her daughter need to go to marry someone, and the Buddha teach her that the third precept as no sexual conduct, So the Buddha didn't say that, oh, you cannot have sexual activity, but it has to conduct the right sexual conduct within the marriage. So when
Đây là nè, đừng có đem lửa ở ngoài vô trong nhà, đừng đem lửa ở trong nhà.
So when her daughter went
đốt nhà
married
người ta, đốt cháy người ta,
and
đem lửa người ta đốt cháy mình.
She taught her that about the third precept and have to maintain the married life.
Nó rất là nhiều ha. Những cái đó đều là những cái trên chủ tớ, kinh bổn sanh, kinh bổn sự của Đức Phật.
So it's based on the how to live a life in the sutra. So it's about how a person, you know, who's gonna marry as a married person. So this is basically come into the practice of the virtues in a worldly life.
Cái người bên chồng ta nghe nói sao bà khuyên nó là phải luôn luôn thờ kính những vị thần.
And when people ask her, you know, why you taught her, why, you know, they have to practice protect, you know, the family life by worshiping the deities. So the deities here are the mom and dad, always protect and maintain the true virtue, her own parents and the mother and father-in-law. And another teaching is we have to that ones need to practice about how to maintain cooking the good food and enjoy the eating manner. And that's all about, you know, how to become a good wife, help the family, always maintain love by cooking good food. And another, the third one is not carry the fire back home. So this is about the teaching of do not carry the fire. The fire here is the anger from the outside and bring it home and then gonna burn down the family. And so all this is the prerequisites for the married life. They need to practice this so to maintain the family happy life. So that is the family life and worldly life. They also have that teaching. So in the Huatou meditation, we also have, you know, to even do better than that. And when you practice this, you're able to recognize the our own ignorance mind. And when practitioners, you know, and been criticized, we need to reflect our own behaviors, and we need to correct them accordingly. So we should not, you know, hate the people, you know, who pointed out, but we should also pay the gratitude for their teaching. So it's not about hate or love. So we just need to recognize that we understand us and we gonna practice and correct whatever, you know, our habitual patterns So the practice here is to direct our mind to the positive and to the constructive life naturally, without duality. We just practice, and it's gonna help us to clear all that. So we just need to practice diligently, and then you're gonna see the result, and it's gonna go beyond the right and wrong, and we're able to recognize whatever we need to correct our mistake or our own habitual patterns. So this is just based on our own practice, and we do not get stuck on the self-attachment. So because right now we still in this dream, we're not awakened yet. So we still controlled by the worldly energy, and we not become the ourselves yet. So in the Platform Sutra and the eighth consciousness, so we see that the five front consciousness, the eyes consciousness, the ear consciousness, the nose consciousness, the taste consciousness, the feeling consciousness. So those are the five front consciousness. And so and the sixth consciousness, and then we have the seven consciousness and eight consciousness. So based on the cause and effect results, it's gonna transform the consciousness. So the seven consciousness is basically the attachment. It has the characteristic of attachment to right and wrong. Has a strong duality. So the eight consciousness, the alaya, is all the storehouses, cover everything. So the six and the seven consciousness, they hard to distinguish. So the sixth consciousness is like the slave and the supervisor, and the seven consciousness is the boss, the director, and the other five consciousness are the slaves. So when we practice this, we use a sixth consciousness. We use a sixth consciousness without distinguishing, without let the seven consciousness to direct what to do. So right now, during our day, without the dream, the sixth consciousness is able to control its destiny. But at night, the seven consciousness is gonna take over. So the seven consciousness is gonna take over and control all the dreams, and override everything in this consciousness. But during the practice during the day, the sixth consciousness is basically gonna be stronger and take control of our during the day.
mỗi cái nó có chức năng riêng của nó.
So all these functions in the consciousness. So the 6 and the 7 based on the cause and effect or the result, it's going to transform the 6 and 7 consciousness, and it transformed the self-attachment to the right and wrong, true and false, love and hate, and whatnot. So it's go beyond the dualistic modes. So whether any of these dualistic modes is based on its own ways contradict each other between love and hate, right and wrong, and so on. So rich and poor, beautiful and ugly, good and bad, and it's create a false mind. It creates a false feelings. So the Tao is basically gonna lead us automatically sweep out those energy of dualistic modes. So it wipes out all the addiction, and no longer relate to any of the dualistic things in life. So when you practice the Huatou, it's gonna eventually lead us to the before thoughts, and it's gonna lead you to the original mind. That is when you reach to the cell nature. So the cell nature is when you discover the cell nature, and the 6 and the 7 consciousness, they transform into the true wisdom. So that's how when you need to know this is knowledge only help us to practice even more, but not increase the worldly knowledge. And when you have too much knowledge, but we don't practice, then it's gonna create a lot of misunderstanding our true mind, true self. So when we have to distinguish between different the meaning so deep and whatnot, it's gonna take us into the only the scholar knowledge, but not as the practice knowledge or wisdom. So the Tao is gonna help us to lead us out of our own ignorance. So right now, if you have any question, please raise your hands. So thank you. Mr. Hoàng Cảnh, please go ahead. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha, dear Thai monks and nuns, and all practitioners. I heard this from our practitioner. Right now, we practice the Huatou. It says we practice outside of the worldly life or worldly Dharma. Can you explain it to us? So as we are practicing this Huatou method right now, we basically just like a skillful way to say it, that we live in allow the mind to live the worldly life, the worldly Dharma by itself. When we say worldly life or beyond the worldly life, it's still on the in the relative. we say
đi khỏi cái mê rồi cái
ignorance
đến cái ngộ, cũng là
or
cái nói phương
awakening
tiện.
is also in a
Cái đó
relative
cái mình chấp
mode.
thật, đến cuối cùng nó không còn
So
chấp
we,
thật, cũng là cái phương
when
tiện.
we attach to the real things
Thì
or
đó là
non-real
cái
thing,
sự thực hành trên cái pháp hành,
it's
trên
still a
cái
skillful way to say it.
gọi là trên cái lý, trên cái lý.
And this
Nói
is just
trên cái
basically the
tương đối
theory
để
that
nói.
we
Thì
want
cái sự thực
to
hành
express
công phu thì nó
to
sẽ lìa trên cái
describe
tương đối. Thì cái tương đối
the
và lìa tương
practice.
đối cũng là trên cái lời nói.
So
Thì
when we
không có nào không
say
có cái lời nói, có cái lời
leave
nói, cái phương tiện,
the skillful
có cái
means
phương
or
pháp, cái phương tiện trực tiếp,
non-living, it's still a way to express it.
để hướng thẳng cái
So
tâm, hướng
it's
thẳng
just a way
cái
to
tâm ra
direct our
vào
mind
cái
to
rốt ráo, hay
practice,
là trong kinh
to
Đại thừa nếu nghĩa thì nó là cái nhất
absolute
nghĩa,
practice.
pháp môn bất nhị, vân vân.
The absolute teaching
Có lời nói đây
Dharma
là phương tiện
also say this.
nên nói là
We leave
lìa cái thế gian đến cái xuất thế gian.
the worldly
Mà thực
to
sự ra
beyond the worldly
do cái tâm chúng ta,
Dharma.
do cái tính phân biệt của chúng ta
Because
có lìa
our
xuất thế gian,
mind always
là có
distinguish
mê có
between
ngộ,
worldly
có
and
sinh tử, có
non-worldly,
niết bàn.
between
Bát nhã tâm kinh Đức Phật nói
cycle of birth
vốn
and
là
Nirvana.
có hai,
But
tại do chấp
the
tâm
Dharma
thành hai.
is only
Thì cái sự tu tập
saying that
phá cái chấp.
there's non-dual,
Cái phương tiện nói cái tâm này không có
dualistic
rõ, không có thấu, thì Đức Phật mượn phương tiện nói một cái khía cạnh khác.
So, but because
Cái khía cạnh
the
khác
sentient beings, they
không có
don't
rõ,
truly
không có thấu nữa, chưa
understand
đầy
this,
đủ nữa, thì
not
nói thêm một khía
thoroughly
cạnh khác nữa.
understand
Ví
this,
dụ
so
như
they
vậy.
have to
Giống như
use
là
this
diễn tả một người
skillful means
mình biết
teaching.
rõ cái người giống như là cái ông
So when we give an example, the governors,
thì ông tỉnh trưởng có
the
nói chuyện,
governors of
mình thấy là ông có bà vợ ông như vậy, có thể không có biết rõ ông, nhưng mà biết ông sơ sơ mờ mờ ít ít thôi đó, thì chỉ bà vợ ông, có thể biết bà vợ ông nhưng mà vẫn chưa biết bà vợ ông, không có nhận ra đó là vợ ông.
Governor has
thì vẫn biết đứa con,
his family,
có mấy đứa con đó, lấy cái số mấy đứa con
and
cái thằng
get
đó,
to know
con
his
đó là con vợ ông đó,
wife,
đó mình mới nhận
and get to know his
mà ông biết
sons,
vợ ông, biết con rõ nữa. Cái nhà ông ở khu đó,
and
chỗ đó đó, cái nhà cao nhà to đó là nhà của ổng.
and we
Mình
get to
nhận
know
ra từ người thân, từ
his
xung quanh, từ
home,
vấn đề, từng vấn đề nọ, là
where's
ông là
his
ông
home at,
tỉnh trưởng,
and
rồi
he's the
lính kia lính của ổng,
governor,
khi mà thấy lính đi
and
qua
his
có ông đi tới, biết người đó là
assistants,
tỉnh trưởng. Thì cái đó
and when
gọi
he
là cái ví dụ
comes, we know
đó là
he's
cái
the
thế
governor.
gian có hình có tướng,
So this is
có
the
sự phân biệt,
worldly
có sự
way to distinguish
chứng minh, có sự giải thích.
between
Còn cái
this
tánh của
and
nó
that.
thì nó không hình không
And
tướng,
when we're talking
rất
about
là
self
khó chứng
nature,
minh,
it's kind of hard
khó giải
to
thích.
prove it,
Đức Phật đặt phương tiện,
describe it.
mà có phương tiện mới bày ra
So therefore,
cái pháp tiện, cách
the
tốt
Buddha
nhất
have to
bất tiện,
use skillful means,
thì đưa ra cái
and
phương tiện
therefore
hay là
he
thừa,
create
trung thừa,
the
dạy cho
skillful mean
phải
teaching and
lìa sự
non-skillful mean
vãng,
teaching.
hết khổ đau,
But
mà rồi ta cũng không biết thế nào là
eventually,
lìa cái sinh tử,
it's going to
thế
lead
nào là chấm dứt khổ đau.
to the
Rồi
end
nghe
of
nói phá chấp thật, mà ta cũng không biết thế nào
the
là chấp
cycle
thật.
of
Thì
birth
dần
and death,
dần bằng cái
and
phương pháp,
how
bằng cái phương tiện nào Phật phải đưa
people
ra
or
để
practitioner
giúp
able
cho
to
người học, giúp cho chúng sanh
let go of
dần dần được tin, được tự tâm,
the
thấu
self
rõ được
attachment.
cái phương pháp
So
để mà
therefore, there have to
giác
create
ngộ, để mà thức
many
tỉnh,
different ways
để
for
mà
people to realize this,
làm chủ chính
realize
mình.
from the dreams, and
Thì
able to become
tất cả thành cái
their
lý
own
mà
true
nói
self.
là pháp thế gian, pháp xuất thế gian cũng vậy. Tại vì đó
So
là
all
tương đối,
this
trên cái tương đối để diễn
teachings,
bày
like
tuyệt đối.
from
Nếu như trên cái bất liệu nghĩa, hiển bày
into
cái
the
nghĩa,
worldly
vô
Dharma
nghĩa,
or
hiển bày thường tánh,
beyond the worldly
nó gọi là
Dharma,
cái phương tiện dần dần
is
thì
basically
cái liễu
try
nghĩa
to
của liệu nghĩa đại thừa nói chỗ rốt
uh,
ráo mà rốt ráo không thể nói,
describe
thì chỉ
the
còn có cái
absolute
tham thiền, có sự tu tập, có sự công phu thôi
teaching.
Thì mình đã tin trên
And So this is all only based on our own practice, and we eventually we have our own trust in the mind, and we're able to recognize this. The deeper you go into the practice, the deeper you understand the true intention of the Buddha and the patriarchs. So all this comes from the skillful teachings, and in the Prajna or the Heart Sutra. When we practice this, we have to go through the 37 skillful teaching or practice, and eventually you reach to the absolute. Then itself let go of all this skillful teaching or skillful tools for the practice, and even the transmute of birth and death even not real, and that's the true practice, the true learning. You're able to recognize that, and you're gonna see the true meaning of the Dharma by the Buddha. Yeah, does it make sense? Yes, thank you, sir. So we are running out of time today, and thank you so much for your time, and take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.